What is up, everyone? How are you all doing today? As you can see from the description of this video and the title of the stream and stuff, we're going to be checking out Prusa's newest official subversion of the slicer software, or Slic3r, as some call it. Hey, what's up, Mac? What's up to the couple people streaming in already? The feature we're actually going to be taking a look at today, because this is going to be a slightly shorter than normal stream, we're going to be taking a look at the variable layer height. This is a new feature that I believe is unique to this version of Slicer. There are ways to accomplish something similar in other slicing softwares like Simplify, but it's a little bit harder to do than it is in this kind of nice little interface and stuff that they made in this version of Slicer. So we're going to check that out today. What's up, K-Bear, Brian, Making Down Under, Craig? What's up, everybody? As you can see here, let me pull this up. This is the file we're going to be working with. It was a little tough. I don't really see myself using this feature personally. I mean, it's always possible that a print will kind of come up that that it works out for. And sorry, my cams are backwards here. My stupid face should be up in the corner, but the wrong camera's up there. But yeah, this is the print we're going to use. This is part of a little role-playing terrain piece, and there's basically like a well that these tentacles are coming up out of. So let me try to fix this camera real quick. I did not realize that was... that wasn't hard. Okay. Easy. So, what's up, Robert, Vince? So this is the print we're going to mess with today. And we scaled this down a little bit. I know it's off to the side here. Off to the side there. This is at 60% scale. Just so the print doesn't take forever. And what we're going to take a look at, like I mentioned, is the variable layer height. So what did I do? What did I do here? Okay. So how this works, this is the 1.338 version of Slic3r, I guess we'll call it. And it keeps going right to it. And what we're going to do is we're going to select our piece, and then generally you have to hit the layer editing, but I must have had it already open. And it brings up this little slider here. And you can see this is not something you've probably seen in Slicer before. And the way this works, the yellow part is like the area that we're kind of like manipulating. And then you can press either the left mouse button, and you see it'll make it green there. And that is going to reduce the layer height. If we zoom in there, it does actually have the layers. I'm not used to Slicer's controls, so bear with me. You can see the layer height. Like, we have kind of a normal thickish layer height here, and then we've kind of condensed it in that green area. And it's like, it's that easy to use this. It kind of surprised me the first time I used it. And then if you hit the right button, you can make the layers thicker. So you see right there, like, we made that area kind of like really fine, and this area kind of really thick. I don't actually know how you adjust like the outer limits of this. It's probably, we won't dig. But I don't actually know how you adjust. You know what I mean? Like the minimum layer height that you can go to and the maximum layer height you can go to. I'm sure there's a way to do that. Because you'd need to be able to do that. What's up, Gusner? Yeah, it is really, like K-Bear, it is really it's really handy. I think the coolest thing about it, and then you can reset everything. I think the coolest thing about it is how easy this little interface is to use. Because like I said, I've done this with prints before. I've done this with quite a few prints, but I've just like done it in a more conventional way using like multiple processes in Simplify. And this, like, I haven't even used this yet, and this seems to have a lot of advantages. One is that you can get kind of like a gradient. So like if we want a detailed area there and a coarse area here, like it says in this thing, if you hold the shift key and then just like move your right mouse button, you can smooth those curves. So you don't have like those abrupt quality changes like you do in the prints that I did in Simplify. See there, we have like a nice like gradient where it's like slowly transitioning from thick layers to thin layers. And I could see that being an advantage on a print. So anyway, we're going to like just kind of do something really simple here. We're going to make the top half of this kind of detailed and the bottom half of it kind of not. And it seems like you notice at the bottom here, we can't really like adjust that that little bit. It looks like it leaves like a default layer, maybe like the layer height that you set. Again, I apologize for the wonky controls. It's been a long time since I've used Slicer. But it seems like our first layer is probably the layer height that we've set in the actual settings of Slicer for this print. But yeah, we'll get it about half and half. And then like I said, we'll hold the shift key and then just like run our right mouse button over that, and we can get like a real nice smooth gradient there, which is kind of cool. It's all but impossible to do that in Simplify, even though we can adjust the layer heights. By choosing the profile. Is there a profile here? We'll have to, like I said, I don't want to mess around too much with it. I don't mind messing with it. I just don't want to spend too much time digging in here. Like I said, I would imagine they've added a place to adjust those min and max values, since we don't really have any like feedback on that main interface to tell us you know, what layer heights we're actually getting. I guess it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I'm not sure where that is. Somebody might know where it is. Print profile defines. I don't know. It might be in there somewhere that I'm just like not noticing. But like I said, I imagine they would have added that in. Where is that, Gusner? Like you said, the print profile defines that. Yeah, is it just like a percentage and it's not adjustable? Is there somewhere, like you seem to be familiar with this, Gusner, is there somewhere in there where you can kind of modify the values for this? Because it wouldn't be in filament settings. I know that. If you're saying it's in the print profile, or is it just oh, it's not adjustable. Okay. I'm kind of surprised though, because with different nozzles, you know, you'd kind of want a different range. So is that saying, are you saying that I guess this green area is going to be at 0.05, and then I guess this is at 0.010, and then this would be at what, 0.2 or 3? I guess we should ease up on this a little bit. Let's go. How do we shift left mouse button resets it to base? So let's do an area of coarse, an area of like normal, and then just a bit at the top here, and then again we'll smooth it a bit. That way we don't have this whole printing at what, 50 microns and taking forever. But that looks cool. We'll go ahead. Screw it. It's not that big of a deal. And we'll smooth this out. So we'll go ahead and ship that. We'll go ahead and slice this and save it. And we'll start printing it and see if it is evident that we did this. Hey, Dickface. I have a feeling that's going to catch on the channel before too long. It's the reason so many people called me Dick in school. Is it was like an excuse to say a dirty word without getting in trouble. And we'll go ahead and export this. Technical inserts. Good to go. So let's get out of here. And we'll go ahead and let me move this to my card. Should only take a second. It's not very big. And there we go. All right, that'll start quickly because I already had everything preheated, so we're good to go. Why don't I just use Octoprint? I don't know, Josh. Why don't I do a lot of things? And like, if anybody just saw like the process that took, that didn't. I don't know. That was fine. I just moved it over to the Flash Air, and we're good to go in like 30 seconds. So, but yeah, we're taking a look at the Verislice. Here is the file we just kind of like messed around with. Put like some fine detail at the top, really coarse detail at the bottom, and a little bit of normal layer height, which I guess will be at like 0.15 because that's what's set in there. But yeah, I did finally do a little bit of experimentation with printing tethered, but being that I use this computer for so much, I really don't have any desire to have it tethered. Especially because lately, something I'm running has a memory leak, so every 24 hours or so, my RAM is at max usage. But yeah, that's what I thought, Gusner. The that gray area is the actual layer height that we set for the print, which is 0.15, I think. If we look in there. But no, this seems kind of cool. Let me get this camera adjusted. All right, and then we'll get it focused a little bit better here. Or does that actually looks kind of close. That's not too bad there. 35 to 50. Ooh, that might be a little too high for the nozzle we have. That's why I said it kind of surprises me if you can't really adjust the range, because like let's say I'm printing with like my 0.25 nozzle, yeah, that'd be a little too much. Be a little too thick on the layer height. Probably cause you some problems. But I wanted to do a little more looking into it before we did this today, but I just didn't get a chance, so we're just gonna fudge it. Have I noticed any quality change with the Prusa bearings compared to the Igus? I want to say yes. We've kind of discussed that before. Like, I don't know how much of that is actual difference, or if it's just like my mind telling me that it's better. But I feel let's put it that way. I feel like prints are a little bit cleaner than they were. But like I said, I think my, I guess, bushings had worn a bit. Because I had like a moderate, I don't know if anybody watched that video. I had a moderate amount of play in the y-axis that I didn't have when I first installed them. So, uh, and I think it was more than my imagination, because I'm pretty sure when we did the change, we took the rods and put brand new, I guess, bushings on them, and then compared them to mine, and there was a little bit more play in the ones that had been on the machine for a few hundred hours. So, extruder 1 layer height limits. Let's take a look at that actually. Print settings. Okay, yeah, I guess that's where it is here. So in printer settings under extruder 1. Yep, this is the lowest printable layer height for this extruder and limits the resolution for variable layer height. Okay, so our finest layers are going to be at, what, 70 microns? And 0 is automatic, so it's 75% of the extrusion width. So I don't know what that would be exactly. That would be about 2.5, about 2.6, since we're using a 0.35 millimeter nozzle. So yeah, that's going to be the range that we're working with there. It looks like we did use Z-hop. It must be enabled by default in Slic3r. So yeah, it definitely has some Z-hop there. I can see it on my screen. You can I know the camera's not pointing at it, but you can always really tell it with the filament. It's always easy to see the little filament filter like bobbing up and down. But yeah, it's on there. Let's check this print actually. That's that thing is a little bit smaller than I was anticipating, but yeah, that means the print will be quick. After a minute or two here, you'll start to be able to see the base of that print. It's a little bit smaller than I was thinking it was going to be. Nope, your eyes aren't playing tricks on you. That is Z-hop. I use it most of the time. There aren't too many situations where it's a problem, and it does prevent some issues from happening. Like, yeah, it helps with a lot of prints. Because for a while there with Simplify, I was having some problems with the nozzle dragging over some of the infill and stuff when you're trying to get like a nice dense overlap on your infill, and it would put lines in it, which doesn't really matter, but a little bit of Z-hop, or I forget what it's called in Simplify. I don't think they call it Z-hop, but a little bit of that goes a long way to like preventing some of that stuff. But as long as your like retraction settings and stuff are adjusted properly, it doesn't really cause any problems. But if you do have some retraction settings that aren't quite right, you can get some blobs and stuff from it. Yeah, Gusner, I didn't like confirm your values, but it seems like that's how it works. If you set it to auto, it appears you can always like manually, you could manually set it higher. Like even on this 0.35, we could, on this nozzle, we could set it to like 0.5 layer heights if we'd want to, if we want to go in there and manually change it. But I don't really know why you'd want to do that. JJ, you remember me getting some blobs on the top layer of the tiles you're printing? I didn't. I haven't printed any of those again. I think some of that was my E-steps being calibrated improperly. We discussed it in that video where that repetitive, dull thudding sound was actually, I believe, the extruder motor skipping steps because there was too much back pressure. And I'm hoping that recalibrating our E-steps like helped that a little bit. But I haven't actually gotten a chance to test any of those files again because it might be the case that we just need to lower the extrusion multiplier on those. It might just be that nozzle's so fine that we just need to be pushing less filament into the hot end. And, you know, that might have been what was causing that problem. But this print's definitely making good time with coarse layers on the bottom. Like, what did we figure? They're going to be about 0.26 millimeters high, which is higher than I use for almost anything. I did get my first 3D hubs order printed and shipped out the other day, and that guy wanted that at 0.3 millimeter layer height. And I think that's actually the highest I've printed before, but it came out nice. Because I just, the person had only ordered a single print, but I sent him like 4 of them. Because I had like 2 test prints that I did, and then I did a pair of the final prints, so I just sent them all to him. So he should hopefully be happy. It's going to be funny if he's not. But it's weird getting, if any of you guys have a 3D hub setup, it's weird getting random parts like that. Because I have no idea what it was. And it's weird to have to like print a random piece. You have no clue what it is and ship it out and stuff. Marcellus, Z-hop is between travel moves. You'll notice the Z-axis actually like elevates, so it doesn't. It's only like it'll be printing and then it'll raise the hot end and move to the other location, and then go down and resume. And that's what Z-hop is. I think they call it something else in Simplify, but it's commonly referred to as Z-hop. Like, I'm pretty sure that all of the files that you get on your SD card with your MK2, I'm pretty sure all of them have Z-hop enabled. With the exception, maybe, of the ones with color change, because it causes some problems if you're doing, like, a color change, since it's, like, jumping above and below that layer. If you've ever sliced a file that has, like, a color change, what do you want to call that, queue in it, it'll tell you to change the color like 85 times, because every time it Z-hops above or below that layer, it'll queue a color change. I'm running the it's fine, Veli. I don't mind talking about stuff. It's I still have the Prusa bearings on there now. So they're not really that bad. I don't know why they're so much quieter than when I ran them before. But they're quite a bit quieter than when I had initially got the machine. And I don't know why that is, honestly. You're right, Nico. That's a retraction vertical lift in Simplify. But yeah, Squeak, it seems like a great tool. Like, I like it because, like, people who don't have access to anything else, like if you're stuck using Slic3r, it's a hell of a lot better than the kind of like interface they had to do like manually set your layer heights before. That was kind of a pain. You had to get your calculator out. Yeah, it could be the lubricant. I wouldn't think it was alignment, because I haven't actually like changed the smooth rods at all. I mean, it could be that the bearing holders, I never really thought about it. It could just be those printed bearing holders that we installed. If you guys haven't seen them, I can shift the camera down and you can see them. But the original kits came with zip ties to hold the bearings on the y-axis, and now they're going to ship with those U-bolts. But I guess it's been a few months ago now. A few months ago, I printed out some out of PLA that actually like hold the bearing in and then screw down from the top. And I can show you those quick. There you can kind of see them. But it could be the case that because they're not metal, and it's kind of breaking up that metal and metal connection, that it helped with some of the noise. I could see that being part of the equation. And yeah, I did lube the bearings. I can show you guys that stuff too. Actually, I can't. That stuff's upstairs. I had to lube the my daughter got a tricycle, and I had to use some of that lubricant on the like the handlebars, because they were squeaking like crazy and it was driving everybody nuts. But that was some of the 3-in-1 PTFE lube. It's in like a teal bottle, about that big. Really, really inexpensive. I think it was like $4 or $5 at like a Lowe's or a home improvement store. It's not. I don't think you want silicone lubricant in the bedroom. I don't know that that's a good thing. Am I going to get the upgrade kit? Yeah, I'm going to get it as soon as, I think they go on sale soon. I don't know if they're pre-orders or if they're actually selling them, but yeah, I'll pick one up since they don't cost that much. Because I don't think they're sending different linear bearings. I could be wrong. Maybe they are shipping different linear bearings. Let me see if I can find some info on that. I think it's funny that some people have popped up selling the new Prusa machines on like eBay and stuff, which is kind of weird. But let me see if they have anything on their site about it. I guess I can pull this up and we can look at it together. I don't have to keep it secret. So their eShop, because I'm pretty sure they were supposed to start taking orders for these soon. ABS juice, printers. Nope, that's not it. That's the MK1 to MK2 upgrade. Is it, or is this it? That's not it. It doesn't look like they have it on their store yet. So I'm not sure when they're gonna like officially start selling them. Might not be for a little bit yet, but I heard it is supposed to be soon, but I don't know how much of that's true. All like Marcella said, I think it's in a blog post. But if I remember correctly, let me see if I can find that blog post. Because I can't quite remember what was in. Like, I think this is Joe Prusa's blog here. And that is not in English. So I don't know how useful this is going to be. And it doesn't look like... No, I don't think that's the right place. Does anybody have a link to the blog? Because we could take a look at it here. Or is it this one? I think I found it. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Here it is. So, the MK2S. Talking about, like, the history of the MK2. So they are... Okay, so they are sending better bearings. That is great, I think. And like they mentioned, I think they talked about this in the Facebook group a little bit. Some of the printers that they've been shipping for the last few weeks have had some of these improvements on them. But you can see there, uh, they did away with the zip ties, which kind of like vindicates the community a little bit, because like most of the community has been saying how like that's not really ideal for some time. And it seems that Prusa research agrees. Like, it's time to move on to something better and to mount them a little bit better. So that's cool to see that. And yeah, it will be nice to have slightly better bearings, because I think with the combination, like you can just see in this picture, if these are the new smooth rods, that these look like they have like almost like a chrome finish. And any of you that have an MK2, you know that the rods that came with it have that kind of like satin, almost like anodized look to them. And it looks like they adjusted some of this stuff. I'll install this whenever I get the kit, but um like I didn't really need this since I did the cable chain upgrade and stuff. Like I already kind of addressed that problem. Well, I kind of already addressed the mount problem too. And it looks like they improved the Rambo case a little bit, which they needed to do. If you've watched many installation or assembly videos of the kits, you'll have seen that people have a little bit of a tough time with the Rambo case install. Oh, and the Pinda mount. I don't think we saw that, but yeah, the new Pinda mount. Marky thinks that's the new Pinda mount's a bad idea. Oh, you have to print some of the pieces? Let me catch up on chat here. Press belong, new Pinda mount. Oh, you have, so Gusner, you got it in January, and you have the new LCD holder. Yeah, Imagination, they're getting rid of those damn zip ties finally. Marcus, that makes sense. Because like if you talk to Igus, I'm responding to Marcus's comment about the rough surface on the rods, wearing the Igus bushings faster. If you talk to Igus, like the expected lifespan of those bearings is extremely long. So I think it was kind of surprising to them to hear from people that, like people like me. I think if I had to guess, I've had to guess before, it was between like 500 and 700 hours that I of print time that I put on the Igus bushings. And like I said, when I took them off and was like moving them on the rod, it wasn't like mind blowing amounts of wear or anything, but they had definitely worn down a bit. And the surface of the rods, it doesn't surprise me that that's the case. Like you can kind of see on the cam there that they're not rough, but they're not super smooth. Like they don't have that chrome like finish that the new rods they're sending appear to have. Is there a download of the bearing mount? They are on, let me find a link here. I can give you a link to that. They are on, let me find it. Aaron York's Tinkercad page. And I'll just link you to his whole profile page, which has been viewed 11,000 times now. Holy crap. But there's his Tinkercad page, and let me throw that in the description. Okay, I threw that in the description too. But those are the ones we used. There's a couple versions out, but as far as I understand, some of the other versions that are available have like clearance issues because the clearances are so tight. on that Z-axis frame, that some of the designs you end up like clipping that if your frame isn't exactly aligned, and that can cause you some problems, obviously. But it's kind of disappointing if we need to print some of the upgrade parts ourselves. I mean, I know that's not the end of the world, but that's not exciting. Am I from Michigan, right? No, I'm from Pennsylvania. But no, it'll be interesting to see like just how nice the components they send are, because I had looked for a bit um, at getting some better linear bearings, but there seems to be like there's some really high end kit like linear bearings, and then there's like everything else that seems to be low, and I don't know if those other low end bearings are any better than these. They might be. I don't know. The home of Scrapple. Not a lot of people know what Scrapple is, or like Hogmaw. Not a lot of people know what that crap is. The accent is similar. Yeah, it's always weird when people tell you you have an accent, but yeah, I've heard that. You should hear the rest of my family. Like, we have like an accent that's kind of unique to like a 4 square mile area. My family's in the lumber business, and it's like we're kind of like a tight knit family. We all talk very similar. Cause I think I don't sound quite like the other males, and it's only the males in the family, which is makes it even weird, or even more weird. But yeah, stuff like that's funny. Oh, so Marky just talked to support, and the printed parts will be supplied in the kit. Okay, that's better. That's better. Like I said, it's not the biggest deal if they wanted us to print them, but I think most of their parts are printed in like PETG and ABS, and like I don't have any, so I'd have to buy filament and stuff, and that just kind of, yeah, kills the excitement. But Gusner, I almost bought the Igus rods, Gusner, but I was kind of worried about them being aluminum. It might have been like an irrational fear that wasn't really justified, but what is the link for the upgrade kit? I can give you the link to the blog post, but the actual kit isn't on their store yet. I'll just drop that in chat. Here's a link to the blog post. But I don't think they, let me skim this quick. I don't think they really like set a release date in stone yet. Soon. The release date is soon. But there's the like I said, we didn't actually make note of it, but here is the improved Pinda mount that they're talking about. And you can see it kind of, I guess we're all going to be disassembling our extruders and stuff, which isn't that big of a deal, but yeah, it just bolts on. It'll be much easier. I was going to say it'll be easier to adjust, but I wonder if they have, because the Pinda is threaded, I wonder if they have like a bolt captured or a nut captured in there, and the Pinda still like screws in and out, or if it's just a friction fit with this plate. I wonder how exactly they did that. Um, According to this, it's you just loosen the two holding screws and move it to where it needs to be. So I'm kind of guessing they don't have a nut captured in there. So it's just like a friction fit, which I don't know, I think will be good. Like I think someone mentioned there could potentially be some problems because there are some things you can do wrong and kind of get your Pinda to hit your print. And I think this design is going to make it more likely to actually just break your Pinda, which could be bad, but you can download the STL. Oh, is it on their GitHub? I see. Oh, so we will still have to rotate it. That I don't know. That's I don't it's whatever, I guess. Bonjour. Hey, what's up, Diodo? Is that how you say that? What's up, everybody? I guess I haven't said hi since we got a bunch of people in. But let me see if I can move the cam closer, because I can't really see much on this this monitor here. Let's move the cam closer and see if we can get a look at the layers on this print. Closer? That's a little bit closer. That's a little bit closer. And let's adjust the focus here. Did I print support material on that? Shit. Oh no, supports were enabled. I actually didn't want to have supports on that. I hope it doesn't print a bunch of, like, internal supports. Oh, Matt, your kit came with a new one? Oh, none of the instructions were updated. That could be a problem for people. Like, I understand what a pain that is to keep up to date, but it really is important. I'm trying to get the zoom adjust or focus adjusted here. Looks about right. You can't see much because that freaking support pillar there in the front. Diodo's in line, waiting for your printer. That's always a fun period. It does pay. Like, I have incentive to encourage you to watch my channel, but like anybody that's here that's waiting on your printer, if you have a printer, even if it's not like an MK2, it is a really good idea to try to, like, consume as much 3D printing content as you can, because it's really going to help you when the time comes to start using your printer. There's nothing quite as great as like encountering a problem and then having already kind of experienced it vicariously through other people, so you kind of know how to handle it. That goes a long way in making, like, the overall, like, 3D printing experience, like, a lot more enjoyable. The website manual. Yeah, and anybody, it is a shame it's not, like, completely up to date, but anybody that has a kit, I would strongly recommend to use the online assembly instructions. They're quite a bit better, and most of the steps have multiple relatively high resolution images that help a lot with you, like, figuring out, like, what part they're talking about and where things need to go exactly. But just like that, yeah, like, one of the big parts is getting used to, like, your slicing software, and that you can do long before you get your printer. I was lucky. I got my printer early, so I only had to wait, like, I think 7 or 9 days, something like that. And even in that short wait time, like, I had the slicer installed and kind of familiarized myself with it. And it helped a lot because then when you get your printer and get it set up and stuff, you can just kind of hit the ground running. What is my normal process for slicing and printing? I pretty much exclusively use Simplify. I was fortunate enough to have someone hook me up with a copy because I couldn't really like afford it at the time, and I would guess that's been, I don't know, that's been a few months ago. I don't even know if that was in 2017. That might have been at the end of the year last year. But I pretty much exclusively use Simplify. Slic3r is catching up. Like for anyone that wasn't here earlier, what we were looking at today was the feature that they added that's called Verislice. And this is the piece we're printing. That's why we're waiting on this print. Verislice allows you, like, you have this little thing over here, and you can move your mouse wheel to adjust the area you're affecting, and then you can just like click and like increase or decrease the detail level, or the layer height, I should say, in those areas. Like the red is a very coarse layer height, and then green is like a very fine layer height. And like if we zoom in there, you can see that we have like very coarse layer lines here and very fine ones here. And this is just like a really easy to use interface. And Simplify 3D, even though it's like a $150 program, doesn't really have a way that's anywhere near this easy to do something like this. Like you can accomplish more or less the same thing, though. Like say we don't care about any of this print except like the tips of these things, right? You can hold shift and right click and drag back across this to smooth those transitions. So there, now when we do this print, like you'd have a smooth transition from these fine layers to the coarse layers and stuff. And there really isn't an easy way to do that in Simplify. And like Gustner said, it's been a little while since Simplify has done an update worth a damn. Wrong camera. It's still great software. Like it's still my go-to. But yeah, it would be nice if they would do an update, especially considering like how much the software costs. And like Marvin said, there's also comments on a lot of the online instruction sections, and they're also helpful to use. Robert, you got an MK2 clone? I'd like to pick one of those up at some point just to kind of see what it's like. There's a shocking amount of them on the market now, so it's kind of hard to pick. Diodo, this will be your first printer. Excellent choice, sir. This was my first printer. This is still my only printer, unfortunately. I'd like to have another one, but yeah, we don't all have infinite money, so if I had infinite money, for one, I'd have a much bigger basement, and two, there would be like 15 or 20 printers down here running right now. Oh, the main person who used to program for Simplify left. That's not good. You'd think they'd be a big enough company that they would just hire someone new. You bought Simplify 3D and never got it. I mean, it might be a stupid question, but did you ever like follow up and like complain to their customer support or email them or anything? Because I assume you paid with a credit card. You could always just like cancel the payment. That usually gets people's attention. Oh, you never understood it. It's really different than like Slic3r or like Cura or some of the other ones. Like the way they organize the program is significantly different. So like I can understand how people would have difficulty like acclimating to it if you've already used something else. There was a bit of a learning curve for me too. But I pretty much, like, whenever I got it, I just switched to it and kind of stuck with it. Because at the time, I was doing prints that I needed the customizable supports for, so I just kind of like forced myself to stick with it, and now it's like second nature. Even a lot of the settings that kind of overwhelmed me at first, I pretty much understand at this point. Oh yeah, I guess Gustner's comment is worth mentioning, uh, because I guess they apparently have like an MK2S assembly guide, but like Gustner mentioned, the comments from the old MK2 guide I guess weren't migrated over, so it'd be worth like checking both those guides out. And it's fairly easy to just have them both open in a browser. I do not know when Prusa Control will be available. Is that I don't that sounds familiar. I don't know what that is exactly offhand. I remember them mentioning that before. That was supposed to be their like their own kind of slicing software, wasn't it? I'm not surprised that that got delayed, actually. Ah, my window glitched out there. But yeah, the comments help a lot. Yeah, like Angus at Maker's Muse, like someone who mentioned that, Marcellus. He has some good like introductory videos for Simplify, because I think the biggest problem for new users is the fundamental differences in the way they organize things. Um, let's we can take a look at it here, like because I don't know if you know like the very basics. Like I just happen to have the same part in Simplify here. Simplify like they just organize everything differently. Like you import your pieces here. Like I think there was like that crossbow thing we were working on the other day, and you import them there. And a lot of the properties, like if you need to scale and stuff, you can just double click the file like on the build plate, and it'll bring up like your position offsets, your scaling, your rotation and stuff if you want to rotate your part. Uh, if you need to move stuff, like you have the little arrow here where you can then click stuff. Most of the time, like the center and arrange button is all you really need to get things in a place that makes sense. Like that, we deleted it, center and arrange, good to go. But as far as like your print settings, they're in what are called processes. And like down here you have process 1. And if we double click that, you have essentially all the same settings that you have in Slicer. They're just kind of like arranged differently. Like here's your nozzle diameter. And a lot of these things you can just set to auto. Like if you're not sure what to set for your extrusion width, just try it with auto. And these, you just like enter your nozzle diameter and generally leave your extrusion multiplier at 1. And again, there's a Prusa profile for Simplify that you can import from the Prusa site that will give you. I think my values are tweaked a little bit here, but they give you good starting values. Your layer height is right here. It's your layer height. Same with your top and bottom layers, like how many like finish layers you have on the top and bottom, the number of like shells you have, which are the perimeter layers. First layer settings, like this allows you to do things like especially like if I was printing at 100 microns, like a 0.1 layer height here, you usually want to do like a thicker first layer, so you can go in here and do like 150%, which will give you like a 0.15 layer thickness on your first layer, so you get better adhesion and stuff. And then you have like your skirts and brims and rafts and stuff, which are all like different support materials. I think they're categorized as support materials in like Slicer, but they're separated out here. Like a skirt or a brim is just like that. You can set it to offset. Like I had this set. like there, if we have one skirt outline a millimeter away from the part, if we go in here and actually preview this, you'll see that it has this line. It'll just, like, it helps, like, purge the nozzle. Not a bad idea to do in prints. But then you have, like, your infill settings. They're all pretty straightforward, too. I know I say that now that I have a bunch of experience, but you really don't even have to use this tab if you don't feel comfortable changing anything. You can just use this slider, and you see it's, like, changing this value with the slider. So if you want, like, a 70% infill, you just move it to there, and it'll change it in here. Support materials, again, this is like one of the biggest appeals of Simplify is the way they handle support material. But again, you really don't have to mess with the tab if you just want to use like the defaults that came in the Prusa profile. You can just hit generate support. It'll throw support on your model. And you have your temperature settings for your heat bed and your extruder. And you can set these to different things, like say you want to lay the first layer down hot and you put it at 220 degrees. And then you want the rest of the print to go at like 190. You can set it to 190, add a set point, and then change it to layer 2. So layer 1, it'll do at 220, and then layers 2 and higher, it'll do at 190. Cooling, you don't need to mess with, especially if you're just printing PLA. And then most of the other things you won't have to mess with. Your speed is in the other tab, but like the default 40 is suitable for most things. And then once you have your settings right, you hit prepare to print. It'll give you like a preview of what the print's going to look like. And the colors here, like Simplify automatically varies the speed based on what it thinks is like most appropriate for the print. So all this green, you see it'll print at approximately like the speed we set. And then these things, it'll slow down a little bit. Especially on like tips like this. So they don't get like distorted or start like pulling the print while it's still hot because you're trying to print too fast on small pieces. And then you just like save those to disk and you can export your G-code. But I know that's like the most ridiculous fast Simplify walkthrough ever, but but yeah, Simplify, I did close it, but Simplify has manual supports. Which, like I said, the supports are one of the most appealing parts. If you come in here, like we had support material in that model, you can generate automatic supports, which it'll do there. And you see it kind of comes to its own conclusions about where you might need support material. But then you can add new supports, like by clicking that. And basically you just want to come in and like you can manually add supports in places. Like we'll add one there. Now the controls are weirding me out in here because we were in Slicer. But yeah, you can just like add stuff wherever you want. Like I don't know why you'd want some of these. I guess it wouldn't hurt. But yeah, just click all over the place. Add a bunch of support materials wherever you like feel you need them. And then it'll kind of like flesh these out based on your actual like support settings and, you know, give you custom supports. But the big thing usually isn't adding new ones. The problem you usually run into is removing things. Like say it automatically generated some stuff here. You can remove them. And that's like one of the biggest limitations that Slicer has at the moment. But yeah. Simplify has some advantages for sure. But if they keep pushing the development of Slicer, the day might come where Slicer kind of pulls ahead. Logical waste. Yeah, they don't ever have sales at Simplify, unfortunately. I did contact them. Like, I just contacted them, was like, hey, you know, I'd like to have your program. Like, people ask me about doing content on it on my YouTube channel. And they offered me, like, a 20 or 25% educational discount. Which I guess was nice of them, but... yeah, they don't have... they don't have sales, like, ever. Which kind of sucks. Yeah, and you can, like, when you saw me editing those supports, you can change the size of them. You can change everything. which is nice. But yeah, there's being able to manually edit supports. Like there's some times where you just need like support in one place. Like I've had prints like that. You need support in like literally one place. But when you do the automatic support generation, like even tweaking the settings, like you get support material all over the print, and it just like depending on the print, it can ruin like your surface finish because it ends up like having contact spots like in places where you don't want it. But no, Gusner, it is amazing how much work Prusa has done on Slic3r. They have like breathed a legitimate amount of new life into that program. Odd question. MK2S, I'm building an enclosure. Are the cables that come with it long enough? My knee-jerk reaction is no. I kind of want to say no. But they might be if you would orient the power supply on the other side of the printer, like on the Rambo side. They might be long enough then, because I think most of the power lines are running essentially from the Rambo side across the bottom of the frame over to where the power supply is. So it's possible that they are, if you wouldn't mind mounting it on the other side of the printer, which wouldn't really matter. The only problem you might run into is that the way this is designed, it kind of uses the power supply case as like a structural support, because it mounts to like the back corner of the frame and the Z frame. So you might run into like some like undesirable flexing or movement if you take the power supply off. I don't know that I've actually seen anybody do that. You spent $80 on Filament. Yeah, I've been feeding my addiction with the maker boxes. It's like a monthly subscription box where they send you 4 different kinds of filament to try out. Yeah, no problem, Logical. Carlos, I can't really comment. I've literally never used Cura. I've never had it installed. I've never fired it up. I've never even really seen anyone in the program before. So I honestly can't comment. You found a gift card. I wish I would have had Filament on hand. I think for like the first week or two, I printed with the kind of orange that I got with the printer that I really didn't like. The orange PLA. It had like an unpleasant transparent quality to it. It was kind of peachy looking. Bjorn, you're running without the fastened PSU? Yeah, like I said, I don't personally know if it would be a problem. I just know that the way the printer's designed, it kind of acts as like a structural support. Excuse me. Because I know if any of you have seen like the 3030 Haribo edition, you'll have to Google that. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Logical. If you've seen that, like one of the reasons you can't print at like higher speeds with this machine is because you get structural flexing and kind of wobbling. And I don't know if that would like contribute to that, because that's why like some of the people do the extruded aluminum like frame upgrades and stuff. How come you're printing with Z-Hop? Because it was enabled and I didn't turn it off. I forgot that Slic3r has it enabled by default, and we just didn't turn it off. Because I don't know if you'd need it for this print. Probably not. Because we talked about it briefly earlier. Like, it doesn't really hurt anything having it on, but you just realized how small that print is. Yeah, I didn't realize it was going to be this small, but I guess it kind of worked out because it's not going to take a long time to print, and I don't have I need to leave. I need to be leaving my house in about 30 minutes or so. Oh, Marky, you did the 30-30 build. They're pretty sweet. I'm hoping I'm hoping finances work out this year. That maybe towards the end of the year I can buy a second printer. Well, no, that's right. We discussed that. You don't need a second printer to do the 3030 upgrade. If you buy the MK2 upgrade kit, like the kit for if you're converting like an MK1, it comes with like a significant amount of the hardware and stuff you need. So if you buy one of those kits and then source all the extra hardware and stuff, you can do one of the 3030 builds fairly inexpensively. I think you end up... I can't remember prices. I don't want to say too much. But yeah, it gives you significantly faster print speeds. And it's like I said, the only thing that's really holding you back on the MK2 is that the frame starts to like move a bit if you print it like higher speeds, just because of like the inertia and stuff and the weight of like the extruder body. Can I link where I found the cable chains? You can find them via the link in the description. They are on Aaron's Tinkercad page. And if I guess you can't really see them there, but I can show you the cable chains. Those are the cable chains. It's probably a little out of focus, but yeah, this is an upgrade you can print yourself. It's like I said, all the files are available on Aaron's Tinkercad page, and like mine are printed in AIO, PLA, and it's an orange that's fairly close. The color settings on that camera look weird there, but if I adjust it a bit, you can see it there. It's a pretty close match to the Prusa orange. I don't know why it looks so weird with the white balance like it was there, but yeah, it's a solid upgrade. You can kind of see it peeking through. I did the heat bed as well. It's a nice upgrade. It prevents like your cables from chafing and stuff. And it's kind of like some of the other things. Like it obviously was something that the printer kind of needed, because like with the MK2S, the cable wear out the back of the extruder is something that they addressed in the new kit. So yeah. Putting the filament spool to the side will remove a lot of the wobble as well. I agree. I haven't done mine yet. My spool is still up there, even though I have the means to do something different with it, but I just haven't for whatever reason. Yeah, the upgrade kit has lead time as well. They're struggling to keep up with demand. I think they're doing their best. Like they've dramatically expanded their operations and like especially their little print farm and stuff, but they're still struggling, I think. These are like the smallest octopus tentacles ever. But it looks like we're almost done here. Oh, see you, Robert. Thanks for stopping by. Did we take a look at the 2S? Yeah, we actually had the blog post about the upgrade kit and stuff up a little bit ago. Because what, it comes with new rods, new bearings, a couple new printed pieces to address some problems. Oh yeah, and like Gustner said, they're apparently moving to a bigger location soon, so hopefully, I don't know how they're doing it. Hopefully they're getting like the new location up and running while the old location's still going, so it doesn't cause like a spike in wait time while they're kind of moving things, because that would kind of suck. But no, it's kind of crazy to imagine where Prusa research is going to be in like 5 years. They are like doing amazingly well. Yeah, like Marcella said, shipping that many printers a month is a big deal. That's a serious undertaking. I've worked at a couple places that did manufacturing, and uh, I know it's another topic altogether, but I think it's a reason a lot of like crowdfunding projects kind of fail, because it's really easy to underestimate the amount of effort and just the amount of stuff involved with like producing things on a scale that large. But yeah, it's hard to scale things. It's harder than it seems like it would be to scale things. But no, it'll be interesting to see what the company does like going into the future. I would imagine they're probably going to branch out and design like some different printers. Hopefully, that would be cool. Maybe some larger format printers. That would be cool. Maybe something like, I wouldn't be surprised if they get into uh, like designing printers for like businesses, because I know like little I want to, I guess they are kind of like print farms, but like print farms are springing up all over the place, which is kind of cool, because most towns like do benefit from having like a 3D print shop. And like the MK2, I think is a solid printer for places like that, but most of those places, they like the I don't know, they like those refined commercial looking designs and stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if Prusa like does something like that. Like places that want to print like exclusively ABS. That's why like a lot of printers have went to like fully enclosed designs. It'd be cool to see Prusa do like a fully enclosed printer. That'd be kind of interesting. But no, they're basically going to be able to do whatever the hell they want to do here in the future. Yeah, it's kind of, I wouldn't be surprised, Marvin. I haven't actually heard anything. I don't know if they've like commented on that, like what the futures of the company are, uh but yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, and I think it's partly due to the fact that it's kind of not that great catering to the what do you want to call that? Like the non-commercial market. I can't think of the word for that at the moment. Oh, they had companies asking for a better version. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Because like I said, I haven't read anything, but I could definitely see that. I've been involved with like enough businesses and stuff to know that they they have much different preferences than like the consumer market. Consumer market, that's what it is. Consumers. But yeah, it wouldn't take significant changes. Like I could easily see them doing something more akin to like the 3030 frames that people are doing, because all it would take is that to really ramp up the print speeds of these machines. Like if they would do their own like extruded frame, or even something like the kind of laser cut aluminum kind of frame they have on this isn't bad, but the way it's designed, like it could be built with a lot more like structural rigidity, so you could really push print speeds. Because if you get a rigid enough frame, then like other things become the limiting factors. So no, it'll be interesting. I'm really like excited to see what the future holds for 3D printing. It's gonna be cool to like come along for the ride. And hopefully in the future I have more resources available to get some of the printers and stuff that come out. I was trying to convince a family member to like go in halvesies with me on like a glow forge, but they seem skeptical. And Marvin, did you say you did the 30-30 or was that someone else? Because you can, I have printed at 50 millimeters a second on the MK2. It gets kind of weird if you're using Simplify because it's going to like roll back the speed on a lot of things anyway. So it's hard to tell like precisely the speed you're printing at. Oh, and the normal one? No, I've done some printing at 50 millimeters a second. It's like anything. It doesn't hurt to test it out. So you can always do that and give it a go. I don't think I ever pushed it to 60, but I have seen people print at 60, and it gets a little it gets a little crazy. Oh, you're printing Dragon Locks, yeah. No, I've printed things. You'll probably run into some. Again, you may not. It all depends. But I just run like a few smaller pieces and give it a test. Because there are some things like you can kind of expect to happen. Like you might, where you had like really sharp corners before, you might end up having like a little bit of rounding on some of the corners and stuff. And like I said, it kind of depends on what slicer you're using. Because if you're using Simplify, if the piece isn't big, you're not going to be getting to your max print speeds anyway. Unless you really crank the acceleration settings, which again can cause some issues. Do I have ads enabled? I think I do, but I think they only play at the beginning. I think. I don't like. I think there's ways that you can run ads, or maybe there's not. I don't know. Ads are stupid. I hate ads. So like, I think. Oh yeah, there is a play ad button here. I don't know. I personally don't like doing that. Um, I'm already like, I don't know. I already have like more support on Patreon and stuff that I would have ever expected. And I'm to the point where like I get enough activity on videos and stuff that AdSense makes a little bit of money each month, and like I'm content with that. But no, I don't really plan, like if I have to go take a dump or something, I might run an ad at some point, but like in general, I don't like running ads. They're stupid. They're no fun. All right, so let's take a look at this. I think I'll pull that camera over here and we'll take a look at it, and we'll see what this looks like. Get a shot of my chaotic basement there. Okay. So I can tell already, Slicer, dump an ad on you. Slicer must not have as aggressive retraction settings as I generally run. Does that gain look okay? That looks about right. And let's get our focus about right. That looks about right. Okay. No, overall, it's. I think the transition being subtle does make a difference. I know it's a little hard to see there. I'll try to get it a little bit better. Let's adjust the focus. About there. About there. You can see the transition being like more subtle does kind of help. It makes it a lot less obvious. Because you can see there at the tips we have like a real fine layer height, and then at the base we have a little more coarse. And like I said, you can tell that the slicer retraction settings weren't as aggressive as I tend to run them in Simplify for this. And the support material's kind of comical. There is this one piece of support there, and that's it. I think that was literally the only piece. But no, overall, I think it's a nice thing to have access to. Because even on a part this small, you know, we got like relatively fine detail up here on the tips of these, minus obviously the. I've always wanted to try a lighter. I thought I had a lighter down here. I apparently don't. I was gonna try to take a lighter and get rid of all that that excess stuff there. But no, it's a cool effect. I think it's like a handy thing to have access to. Because that dramatically sped even this small print up compared to having it be like, you know, all printed at point whatever microns or whatever the hell it would have been. But no, like we were just talking about, it's really great that Prusa is taking the time to show the slicing software some love. Because if they were just spending all their time on like the hardware, and this is a cool little print. I'll have to print this when I leave the house. I think I'll start 100% scale one, little like tentacles. But no, overall, cool little print. It looks like it kind of looks like a purple cactus there. Kind of out of focus, but no, overall, I think that's like a handy thing to have access to. I think there's going to be a lot of people that will use that. Let's try this out. Let's see what... I don't even know how it works. So here's advertising. Here's a word from our sponsor. I guess I don't even know how it works now. Does it just like delay the stream? Because I don't see anything happening. I run ad block. So I don't hold it against any of you if you guys run ad block. It's just the way the internet is now. Hopefully I don't like that. I have no idea what's going on. Is the ad over now? Is it done? That's weird. I don't like that. That's not going to be something that happens here. I don't like it. The Day of the Tentacle flashback. But yeah, that was pretty much the goal of the stream today. You have to go buy a Volvo now. But yeah, like I said, I mean, if you're watching Angus or Joel or Tom or something, by all means, turn your ad block off. But if you're here watching me, like, I really don't care if you guys run it. It's whatever. I run it. I can't really complain that anybody else does it. So, yeah, we're not this isn't going to be like an ad-centric thing. Like I said, I think most of the videos do have monetization on, so they probably run an ad at the start, and that's it. Like, I'm not going to be jamming them in videos, so. But like I said, if I do step away from the camera, maybe I'll run one periodically, but I'm not really that worried about it. But good on most of you. Most of you didn't experience anything there, so you all know how to internet correctly. But that was it. I do have I guess there's not much going on. I have these little prints. Someone sent me. It's kind of a cool concept. They're doing like a tabletop war game, and the whole idea is that like you buy the files from them and print like the pieces yourself. Like they have these are actually free on the site. I'll throw a link in the description for anybody that makes it this far. But they're like little orb things. Like these are like the alien invaders, and you fight like these guys versus some of the tanks and stuff. And you can see that these are fairly nice prints. I was discussing with the person that sent them to me about like this one. I can't get it apart. He was going for a design that didn't use glue. So like the halves have like this square here, and you can see I had to sand the shit out of this to get it to fit, because he wanted to have like a glue-free kind of connection, but I don't really see why glue would be a problem, honestly. But yeah, that's something else that's going on. I don't know why I'm mentioning it here, but I just had these prints sitting here. The big ball is kind of cool. I'm probably going to print some of these out and give them to my daughter just to play with, because they're kind of nifty, and glue them together. But yeah, I'm hopefully going to do some playtesting for the game and stuff for him, so it'll be cool to see that if any of you guys are into gaming and stuff. Apparently Angus sent him my way, which was kind of cool, but I don't know if that's true or not. No glue. Well, the thing is, like, the way I was thinking about it is like, if this is appealing to tabletop gamers, like, we're used to gluing everything. Everything gets glued. So, I mean, it's cool from like a design perspective, especially with like some of the other pieces he designed. I'll save some of them because like there's a giant like spider-legged walker thing that actually houses one of these things in the face of it, and it like rotates and stuff. It's kind of amazing to me that he designed that whole 20-piece miniature to work without glue and stuff, but are these yours, Imagination? Is that you? Or is that not you? Did you send me something else? I've had some people send me some things that I won't comment on. But the internet never ceases to amaze. Oh, you're joking. I was going to say. Yeah. But yeah, I've had some people send me some things that I can't show on stream, which is kind of hilarious to me. What the hell's wrong with people? All right, but I gotta head out, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. I get to go do something exciting, but I do have to head out. So, we'll be streaming Thursday, and it'd be like normal. We're to be kind of loosely related to 3D printing, but not exactly like this. Tuesdays will always be like hardcore 3D printing stuff, but I'll be streaming Thursday at 10 a.m. like usual, Eastern Standard Time. I'll try to schedule streams. I keep forgetting. I scheduled this one like 2 minutes before I started. So hopefully you'll get like your alerts and stuff before I'm actually like sitting here streaming. Also, thanks for that, Marcus. I did see that. I kind of forgot. It just struck me what that was. The weird like super chat stuff is enabled. So if you ever want to like tip directly to the stream or something, like that is a thing now. Marcus didn't even take complete advantage of it, because you can also put an inappropriate message of some kind there that gets tagged to the top of the chat for a little while unless I do something about it. But no, thanks a lot, Marcus. I do appreciate it. It does help. It lets me get like filaments and stuff to check out that I would not normally be able to buy. So I really do appreciate that. And as always, like, thanks to all the guys that support me on Patreon. Super Spam, it's called. Thanks, Dickface. Not a problem. Not a problem, Marky. You keep doing that, it's going to catch on, and everybody's going to be calling me Dickface in here, which I don't have a problem with. All my real-life friends call me Dickface, or most of them anyway. Most of them that I know well. So, look into Hatchbox. I did print with Hatchbox like a while ago. I got some silver that I like was kind of lukewarm on, but it's probably time to give them a try. They have a ton of colors. And I think I do have a project coming up soon that I'm going to need like a unique color for, so I'll probably buy a roll of that soon. But I guess that's it for today. Check out the is it Verislice? Verilayer? Check out the variable layer height feature in the new Prusa Slicer edition, or Slicer Prusa edition. It is available in the driver pack now. It was only on the GitHub before, but it is in the like the Prusa driver pack on their site now, so it's easy to get. But yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully I'll see some of you Thursday if you want to stop by. But until then, have a great day and print a bunch of cool stuff. Peace.